I say all right. So, Darryl, how everything started for you?
It's a good question. I think for me, I always didn't know I wanted to be a doctor. It was kind of something that happened in college. I knew I was interested in sciences. I wasn't sure if I was going to go down the chemistry road or actually go in the health professions field. But I think what changed what made me become a doctor was just the experience with my grandmother's primary care physician. So my grandmother had a couple of health issues that kind of brought her in very close contact with the primary care doctor, ultimately who kind of managed her care throughout that entire course. Through surgeries, through hospital admissions, just someone there that really was almost like an advocate for her. I was like, oh, this is something that I think I can do. Yeah. I really liked what the primary care physician did for my grandmother, and I just kind of explored it a little bit more. And that's kind of what drove me to become a physician.
Okay. So that was in high school? There was college?
That was actually in college.
College, okay.
Yeah, so that was probably toward the end of my freshman year of college.
Okay.
So I was luckily I was a science major, so I was already taking the prerequisite courses anyway.
Yeah.
But it was then I was like, okay, I'm going to be a doctor. How do I do this?
Yeah.
And so that's when I met with a pre-med advisor and then kind of shifted my schedule so that it would, fulfill the coursework for pre-med.
Mm-hmm. How was your experience with your pre-med advisor? I have a lot of students under my mentorship services right now that they come to me because they find that the pre-med advisor sometimes is too distant from the student because he or she sees like 100, 200, 300 students every semester, and he just go with the flow, right? Just say like, oh, there's a schedule that you have to do it. They don't really look at taking 3 or 4 science courses on the same semester and taking like all general education classes on another semester, so they don't really balance it out. And in this way, people end up taking hard classes in the same semester, and the GPA is going to suffer. And as you probably already know, GPA is really important for admission medical school, right? So how was your experience in that regard?
Well, I totally agree. I think pre-med advisors are great. Mine was pretty good, but one issue that I have, and you highlighted this, and I'm sure many other students had as well, is that it's hard for them to tailor a plan that's very individual to you when they have so many students to, take care of. So for me, I think the advisor was helpful, but ultimately it was my own research that I think really helped me navigate my schedule, my path to help me effectively get into medical school.
Yeah, research is very important. Like that's something that I always stress is that first, before going to an advisor, to whatever network opportunity you have, interview, you have to do your own research. It goes for counseling services, it goes for interviews at medical school because you have to interview. You have to, when they ask you, okay, well, do you have any questions for us? That actually shows how much you appreciate their program, how much you're interested in their hospital, in their, in working with them. And I believe you had the same idea, the same process with residency, right? Because at the end of the day, you're picking the program over another.
Exactly.
Right? So if you don't really know what their program entails, and that comes from your research, right? From the fact that you maybe visit the campus or etc. You cannot just go by emails, right? And ask them like, hey, can you tell me this? Can you tell me that? Because that probably 99% of the time you're gonna get like a very broad, generic answer that everybody does to for that kind of situation, right? So how was the so college, right?
Okay.
So mainly our audience is college students. So how was the pre-med journey? The struggles you had, if you had any, how you overcame them, the difficulties. How was that experience for you?
Well, there were definitely struggles, actually quite a bit of them. I think for me, just going through and not giving up. I mean, I think one thing that at least my parents kind of instilled in me is that you have to be realistic. You know, you can't jump into something and expect everything to magically happen. At the same time, you don't want to just like look at a problem and say, oh, you know, too much for me to deal with. I'm done.
Yeah.
So I think being realistic definitely helped. Like we mentioned before, having to take so many science courses all at once and maintaining a GPA, higher GPA, is something that can be really challenging. For me, I knew that that was something that was going to be challenging, so I tried to kind of offset my schedule to balance, you know, 2 science courses with some, I'll say, lighter courses, or courses that help me explore or learn in a different type of way.
Yeah.
So I took music course, which kind of counted as an elective, while I was taking, you know, 2 science courses, and I would try to avoid doing more than 2 at once. I think one semester got particularly difficult with organic chemistry and anatomy, and I think yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was the first semester of organic chemistry. I knew it was a weed out course, and I said, you know, this is too much for me. What I did at that point is I immediately went to our tutoring services and just said, you know what, I need help. I can't do this alone. And I went every week. I saw a tutor. Even if I was doing well in class, it's like, no, you need this discipline. You need help to make sure you can kind of balance this.
Yeah, I think TAs and tutors are really underestimated, I want to say, because, I mean, they're there for you. They're free. So if you need help, why don't you go check them out at least, right? If you find them useful, you can go back. Like at our university, we have supplemental instructions. We have the San Diego State University, we have like UMass and Harvard, and they're really beneficial. You actually see the difference from, like, in terms of grading, from the people that go to the CI sessions and people that just like stay in lecture, and that's all they get, right? Because hanging out, what I always say to my students is that when you go, it's an opportunity, right? Even if you get one good thing out of it, that you really benefit from it, right?
Definitely.
So it could be like an extra practice problem. It could be you made like a new friends with, and you're gonna have like create a study group out of it, right? You're gonna have, I don't know, the professor, the TA, or usually they're peer students that run this session that previously took the class and got an A. So they can give like insight and say, hey, I got an A in this way. Maybe it's not gonna work for you, but why don't you try it out, right? But if it works, great. I have all the materials, all the tools and experience to help you out in that specific problem in case you have any question. Otherwise, you just tried something new and maybe it's not going to be useful, for instance, in organic chemistry, but it can be useful in anatomy. So you can apply that different skill that they advise you to try it out in different courses, right? So that's something that, as you said, tutoring services are really great, and people should take advantage of it more often than they do, right?
Even when you're doing well, I think
Yes.
it definitely helps to just take a step back and, like you said, utilize what's there, because you can only do better. You only can gain.
Yes, definitely. So that was organic chemistry anatomy. Was here in your sophomore year, junior year?
That was my sophomore year.
Okay. When did you apply to medical school? So did you go straight, or did you have a lot of people go like gap years?
So I actually went straight through, but I did 5 years of undergraduate school to kind of stretch out the course load so that it was manageable.
Okay.
So I applied technically my junior year, my second to last year.
Okay.
And I think that, applying itself wasn't too bad, but studying for the MCAT while taking courses and balancing a job was something that was definitely challenging. Looking back, I wish I would have just had designated time to just study for the MCAT because, I mean, let's be honest, these scores really do matter. I think that unfortunately, institutions have metrics. There's so many people that apply, they have cutoffs, and a score is an easy way to measure whether someone deserves to be in medical school or not. I don't think it should be the only way by any means.
Yeah. Well, scores, GPA, and then usually extracurricular, and of course there are other things you do can, if you do it in a productive way and you adjust in the right way on the application, can help you out in kind of like differentiate you from another applicant, right? Because I mean, everybody can have everybody. I don't want to say everybody. A lot of applicants usually have high GPA or fairly high GPA with a fairly high MCAT, right? So how do you kind of stand out from that, right? Interview is a great tool to assess that, right? But that's not the only thing. You have to kind of be like a well-rounded applicant to really have a shot, because you've been through the process. I didn't yet, so I'm learning. But admission is really competitive, so you have to work through it thoughtfully and try to do less mistake as possible, right?
Yeah.
So, but of course,
I think that one thing, undergrad, it was challenging. Obviously, coursework is challenging in itself. But one of, I think, the unique challenges I have, maybe not so unique that other people have as well, is just kind of dealing with, the financial pressure of, paying for college while paying for the MCAT, paying for applying, MCAT prep, and still kind of juggling your coursework. I think for me, one thing that really helped, and actually looking back, it was my own desire to seek organic chemistry, supplemental instruction, or tutoring. It was like that put me in a position to not only learn the material and review it well, but to actually one day become an instructor or supplemental instructor or a tutor. I mean, that helped me obviously financially because I made a little bit of money, but it helped me really reinforce the material as well. It was really beneficial.
Yeah, I've been a tutor as well, so I totally understand what you're talking about. It's retaining the information and like practicing over and over again makes it perfect, right? So organic chemistry, you did it well. Organic chemistry is probably the toughest subject in every pre-med curriculum. So it's being like really good at it also helped you a lot for the MCAT, for prepping for the MCAT. Also because organic chemistry is a subject where, I think it's a matter of mindset. So you cannot study for organic chemistry like you study for general chemistry. You cannot study for organic chemistry like you study for bio, anatomy, math, physics. So it's a really unique subject, and being able to critically think the different mechanism or the correct pattern that you're supposed to follow, or the concept that you need to apply, that really helps you for whatever subject you want to take afterwards, right? So yeah. So undergrad was a big chunk of your pre-med journey, but now you're in medical school. So what's medical school like?
In our medical school they say, medical school is like eating pancakes. So, you get to breakfast, and the first day, obviously everyone loves pancakes. So you have 2 pancakes in front of you, you eat them, it's great, you're really enjoying it, you've always wanted to eat pancakes for breakfast. Then the next day it's like 4 pancakes. It's like, alright, couple more pancakes, still good, but still like, alright, I'm okay with pancakes. The next day it's like 6, 8, 10, and before you know it, you just have all these pancakes that you thought, you were really going to enjoy, but you're overwhelmed. So that's how I would describe medical school. It's something that you obviously love, you love the content, but the volume can definitely be overwhelming.
Yeah. So what are the challenges that you find in medical school, or that you think made you at least overcome and made you a better person?
I think that with the content being so overwhelming, just being able to really set limits. That I will study for this period of time during the day. I'm going to make sure that I am actively studying, and then I'm also going to take some time for myself. I think it helped me to kind of balance the coursework and then also being a happier person.
Yeah.
One way that I would really take time for myself, or actually I should say, I shouldn't make it seem like that it was that easy. It's actually I was kind of forced to. So I had my own health condition that kind of forced me to take a step back and really focus on myself during medical school. I think it's easy to get very focused on doing well and the content and caring for people around you that you forget about yourself. And so with that, I started definitely taking better care of my health. I made a commitment to myself to go to the gym. It was really important in undergrad, but I kind of deviated a little bit in medical school, but I reaffirmed that commitment. And I think ultimately it really helped me. I mean, if I can take care of myself, it helped me take care of other people.
Definitely, yeah. Taking care of yourself is always the number one thing in everything. I remember myself when I did move from San Diego to Boston, and the first, I want to say, month or so, you move into a different city. You probably did experience the same moving from Chicago to New York. You have to start from scratch again. You have to work on your routine again. You have to find your study spots. You have to meet new people as well, and create your own environment, your own bubble where you're gonna perform well. And for me, it was really a big thing because I used to work out a lot. I used to have the gym in my own complex. Now I don't have a gym anymore, so I need to find the time to go to the gym. So if before it was just a matter of going downstairs, right now it's like 20-30 minutes drive. So it was really interesting. It was really challenging at the very beginning, but now I found myself sleeping well because I was getting my 6-7 hours of sleep, eating well, healthy, because I found that I had a Trader Joe by my house that I didn't have in San Diego, for instance, right? So I am able to buy this sort of stuff, cooking for myself, not eating junk foods, and that helps you physically, and eventually also working out, as I said, working out, just going to the gym at school. And stay there longer, stay at school longer to study, then eventually ending the day by working out. So going to the gym and kind of relax whatever stress I accumulate during the day. So by coming home, also just shower and really good sleep and start a new day, the same motivation, same routine. So kind of create that routine makes you also more organized, and when you're more organized, you're more efficient because you do know what to expect. You have no surprises, right? So less stress, less pressure, and you just go get it. Basically, they're too afraid to say, okay, so if I don't go, it's better if I stay here because I'm more comfortable. It's getting out of the comfort zone, right? So.
Sure. So I think that one thing about this whole profession is that being uncomfortable. I think in undergraduate, you're uncomfortable with the material. Same with medical school. When you actually meet, there's so many different patients, so many different conditions that you're never totally going to feel comfortable. One experience I think that helped me was that I was matched outside of my comfort zone, actually in New York City. Obviously, I'd interviewed all over the country, but most of my interviews were in Chicago, where I'm from, and I was planning to stay there. But I think that the match, as it does, it takes you other places. And I think it's really helped me to kind of grow as a person, to be away from my family, to kind of figure things out on my own, but also to know that I can always go home and have that support, and things were the way I left them.
Right. Yeah, I think getting out of your comfort zone, or at least be open to change, no matter what kind of change. It could be like locally, it could be mentally, physically, based on the situations. It really is something that everybody needs to experience, because change and stepping out of your comfort zone brings so many positivity in your life, so many opportunities, that it completely balance out or whatever you're afraid of. Because I wanna quote Will Smith here. He once said, "The point of maximum danger is the point of minimum fear," because whatever happens to you, whatever the best things in life happens after that point. I don't know if you agree with that, but me personally, this quote completely reflects my my entire journey, my entire life, from being away from my parents when I moved from my hometown in Italy to pharmacy school in Milan, to eventually move from Italy to the United States, to eventually move out of San Diego, where I've had all of my friends, all my best friends, to eventually challenge myself in Boston and try to get a look where I am now, right? So it's always be open to change, because the opportunities that it brings with it comes with it, they're endless. So, and it's really great that you're sharing this with us, and I really appreciate that, because it's something that I people don't stress enough.
I know that all of this is very difficult, but it also is really rewarding. One thing that kind of helps me get through each day is just reminding myself that I'm not in control of a lot of different things, but I can control my attitude. I can't necessarily control other people, but I can control how I react to different situations. So I think just having a positive approach to everything that goes on, or generally, you try to at least, it really helps.
Yeah, the PTPRS mentality. That's what I call it. It's. I think it's just a matter of mindset. If you're there 100%, as we said, fully committed, passionate, you are going to succeed no matter what, because you will see that hard work always pays off, right? And if you have that kind of attitude, it's just going to be a matter of execution, right? So. With this, thank you, Darryl, so much. I really appreciate you taking the time off your busy schedule. I know residents.